If you were suffering any kind of physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual pain, and I mean bad, like agony, then you definitely need to connect with Dorothea Cosma. She helps people extinguish their own agony, and also she teaches people to be able to teach others to do the same thing. I'm talking the physical, like the body, the mental, the mind, the emotional, the heart, and the spiritual, and the soul, whether it's kids, teens, adults, or seniors. And when you understand her story and how she came to be gifted in this way, then you'll definitely want to connect with her. See, she was a daughter of a World War II prisoner of war. She grew up very poor with one of six kids, two of which died. And she just went through life always wanting to die. She was living in a group of 7 heroin addicts who all died except for her. She was the one survivor, and 8 other times she's been near death. She's been in 4 auto accidents that the experts said were unsurvivable. They couldn't understand how she survived. And then her body was physically hit by a truck. Again, another time by a car. She cut her artery, her actual artery in her arm. One time that usually is certain death. And she's even drowned and been revived. So she's had those 9 lives, and yet here she is. But now she's a totally different person. She's basically gone through this transformation where after having uterine cancer at age 28, she turned down the emergency operation that they wanted to do on her right on the spot when they saw how bad it was. No emergency operation, no chemotherapy. She ended up healing herself with help from other self-healing experts. So there was no drugs or medicines involved whatsoever. Now, 15 years later, she ran into the same doctor, and the doctor said, "You're still alive?" Like she thought it was a certain death sentence, because typically it is. And now she's, after having learned this process of how to self-heal, which, by the way, was not easy for her. I mean, she studied like 2 years in a self-healing institute in Munich, and then 20 more years all over the world, Japan, USA, and Europe. So she's had 30 years total experience studying and actually doing this and helping others to heal themselves and to teach others how to do it. Literally thousands of people. And the results have been really remarkable. She's helped somebody that had a really agonizing back pain. 2 hours later, it was gone. And this was pain they had for years. And she's got a handwritten letter that I saw that said it was that he wrote from halfway around the world to say that it was gone. A child who was just homework was always agony. This 8-year-old boy, always angry. Every day it was a fight with the mom, and then she was able to fix that situation in literally just a few hours. There was this other woman who had this agony over her father after 23 years of being abandoned and rejected by her father. She had these agonizing eating problems. All she could eat was white rice. She's laying on the couch. She couldn't function, no energy. The doctors tried everything they couldn't fix. She had no energy to even get up and walk. 10 minutes with Dorothea, and her father sends a WhatsApp after 23 years and says, "Do you know how much I love you and I miss you?" And that was the impact that it had. And so in 2.5 hours of total time, all of this 23 years of emotional agony and the physical almost death that it caused was completely extinguished. Another woman, Barbara, had this agony in her marriage, and after an hour and a half with Dorothea, she was able to extinguish that agony. And she said she wrote that she'd invited her husband back into the bedroom, put on her wedding ring again. The children are happy, and then she's in love again. She had another lady, Miss Drexel, had this stomach agony for, and after only an hour and a half, Dorothea, that she spent with her, ended up getting another letter saying, "I felt really good in the following weeks. I was able to eat again without having severe pain afterwards, constantly having to go to the bathroom all the time." And she does these classes where she teaches people how to, help heal and extinguish their agony. And this one 10-year-old girl was there, and just in just a dark place. She came in wearing black shoes, black socks, pants, shirt, a black hair ribbon, and then she left being a totally different person. In fact, she said, "I can go and be the sunshine in my room now." So this is just kind of some of the examples that I had seen and was familiar with. I mean, there's many, many, many more. But if you're skeptical, probably the best story to share with you is where Dorothea was speaking to an audience, as she often does, and a woman stood up in the audience and demanded to be helped right now. And Dorothea she wanted it to be, in front of everyone, and it had to do with, she stood up and something to the effect that, "I just realized that my father raped me," and it was suppressed until that moment. And she said, "I want you to help me resolve this right now." And despite Dorothea's hesitancy, she insisted, so she came up on the stage and it spent 30 minutes with her. Then she said, "I'm so relieved right now." She walked back into the audience, and everybody was just astonished. And the audience was full of doctors who, want everything to be explained with science and be able to be proven with a scientific experience. But results don't lie. When people see the results in front of them, even though we can't always explain them, we can't deny them. But there's just so many of these instances where like another one where this guy comes to one of her trainings. He didn't even want to be there. His wife like blackmailed him into being there. And he's this strict businessman. He comes in a suit, and Dorothea almost asked him to leave because he had all this negative energy. But he had the perfect life, except but he'd been depressed. Perfect on paper, but depressed since childhood. And she let him stay when she realized this. And after spending some time with him, he said, "I'm not perfect, but I'm really happy now." The guy was so happy that on his way out, he gave her a big stack of cash, and to thank her for the absolute transformation that he experienced, and that extinguishing the agony right there after that time. So this is not some sort of a magic thing. It's just what Dorothea does is helps your body achieve balance. And so I encourage you, if you want to go from being like a victim to victory, then you definitely want to connect with Dorothea Cosma, because a healed soul is a happy soul. Healing is good. Healing yourself is even better. And then if you're able to take this after experiencing for yourself and help others to heal, that's the best feeling that you can possibly have. And that's where I would encourage you to go. So get in touch with Dorothea and experience what she's able to do. Help your body achieve balance, so that, as I said in the very beginning, you can learn how to heal the physical body, the mental, the mind, the emotional heart, and the spiritual and the soul, whether you're child, teen, adult, or a senior. All right, good luck. God bless.